Maybe, okay, too bad. I didn't continue recording. Anyway, we'll start from this. So visual storytelling helps us to highlight different things which word can never able to do. Okay. So there are a lot of things that we can actually choose to highlight, but you need a little bit of photographer, videographer, designer, cameraman, lighting expert, whatever, you know, to once in a while, you know, pick up this skill and see how people do for you to get the best shot to populate your GIS map, okay? Like the one I showed you about our Sungai Langat, no, Sungai Pantai, yeah? Sungai Pantai. You have to go down to that river to take the best picture. Okay, you have to get down to the river. So in some cases you cannot. So we may find a better option to get a good shot of the picture. Okay, so either remote or whatever. So I think there are many things you have to consider to get the best picture that tells the best story. Okay. And we come back to the design thinking concept once again in the storytelling, you see. It comes back because the design thinking and visual thinking and storytelling essentially the same game. Okay. You try to understand the problem, define your case, identify what you want to achieve, what is the issue, and what exactly you want to propose, ultimately, you want to achieve. And then you go and redefine, okay? Because when you redefine, you get a better understanding of the original raw idea you had. Many people tell different things. So by redefining, you throw away this, not now, this may be not related, this is not going to create impact, this may create some tension, that creates conflict with the management. So finally, maybe there are certain things you have to consider, okay, in the context of a competition. All right, so you cannot simply have a war tone. You must also have a diplomacy tone. You cannot say everything is bad. You are not proposing any, any good solution because everything is bad. Okay. So once in a while, we must see the other side of the coin also, and the other side from the other people's point of view. What is hindering and how your solution can reduce that obstacle rather than hitting hard on them. Okay. So maybe the data can be used for the management to go and approach the authority to settle something, rather than hitting straight saying that, this is the bad scenario, the building will collapse. Okay. So you must verify with your audience whether they are truly going to receive this kind of view, this opinion, or this idea. Okay. So you have to think about your message, whether the message now has gone astray, gone in some direction which far from what you started. Then you go back to ideate, which is also the design thinking, creative process that support your story, bring variety, then build the strongest, the Darwinian idea, the one that you will use it to pitch. Then visualize using any form. So for this competition, you can use audio, video, narrative, any form, as long as it is digitized and it's living on the GIS map. Okay, it won't be living outside the GIS map. So you're going to submit a GIS map. When we click, the active component will be activated, the video will play, the image will shift, whatever. Okay, and there is also, Q&A session where you have to explain. All right, you can have intermission by you being inside that map as well. Okay, you can jump into the map during presentation where you are the narrator, and then it goes into the recorded video or audio. Then you can actually come inside, just like a newscaster going in and out. And then number 5, you have to share to get a feedback from the audience or stakeholder. And finally, you have to revisit, reflect whether you captured everything that you wanted, or you have been staying on the narrative without any deviation. If there is anything not proper, you go back to one and reiterate again. Okay, it's a time-consuming process, but I can tell you, in every cycle of reiteration, you will learn something. Okay, so you have 5 different ways to explain things. You have 3 different ways to say how things work, how things doesn't work. It's far better than only have one way of thinking. Okay, so nothing will be wasted in the iteration process. Don't worry. It may take some time, but it will pay off. Okay, so finally, we come to this storytelling. In our standard presentation, in seminar, in talks, we always follow the left-hand side. Introduction, motivation, problem statement, objective, literature, methodology, result, conclusion, future work. Okay, if you follow this strategy for storytelling, you will bore people to death. Okay, so you need to use the idea how people construct literature and also creative, creative work, which first is getting attention, which we call the Act 1. Then you build on your science and explanation, which is the Act 2. Then the third is actually what you expect people to do after listening to you, Act 3. Okay, so basically storytelling like in a movie. Okay, so this is part 1, introduction. Okay, the Act 1. This is supporting science, Act 2. And this is Act 3, conclusion or takeaway. So this is a standard emotion graph that is used in creative work like storytelling, movie scripts, theater, drama, serial, and so on. Okay, so this is quite universal, the way they change the landscape of the emotion. All right, and we can relate this to many literature work, including scriptures. Okay, some of the scriptures are written in such a way like it's a historical story. Okay, where you have you have something like good thing happen, bad thing happen, how people rediscover themselves, and then the change comes. So this is called the monomyth, or the hero's journey, a story structure that is found in many folk tales, myths, and religious writing around the world. So this was proposed by Joseph Campbell in his book, Heroes with 1,000 Faces. And basically, this is the idea. The Act 1 is all the introductory, ordinary world. You are called to challenge. You refuse to, follow the norm. You are meeting the mentor or somebody to guide, and you are discovering something. Okay. And then you can then move to the next stage of discovery journey. Then you cross the threshold, you fight with the enemies, and then you win. And finally, you found the reason for all this, and then you return to tell the story. Okay, so this is called the hero's journey. Okay, this is a kind of structure used by many films such as this, Act 1, Act 2, Act 3. So in your story map, make sure you have roughly the structure, okay, to be safe. So your structure, Act 1 is you are setting up the scenario. Your Act 2 is conflict, which is becoming very, serious, or where the science goes in, and then the hero solve the problem resolution. Okay. So for your story map, for your storytelling, read some, some basic tips about storytelling, story writing, and you will know what I am talking about in the monomyth, format that has the structure of you starting a journey, meeting someone, your mind changed, and then you are called to face the challenge. You learn new things. You almost, face failure, but somehow through the blessing or divine intervention, you actually overcome these, these challenges, and then you are rewarded and you return as a hero. So that's what we call the hero's journey. So if your story map as the hero's journey format, I assume it will be appealing. Okay, it depends. How good is the hero, how bad is the villain. All right. And you can also look at many literature giants will talk about the shape of stories. For example, here Kurt Vonnegut talk about how story about boy meet girl happy, and then something happened, and then it becomes so low, unfortunate, and then again he rise to the fortune, happy again. Okay, happy ever after. So these kind of stories, if you enjoy watching some movies, there is a structure behind those creation. Okay, so if you watch movie, you can learn from the movie, bring it into your story map. I'm sure that some of your stories will be a chart topping storybook. Okay, so try to minimize the text, add more visual. So this is the book I'm actually showing you. I'm trying to practice what I preach. So hopefully this competition, there'll be more people, can be a follower of this visual storytelling. Okay, and improve your life. So the one on the right is example of plastic, which is written as part of the story. And the issue is presented as a mountain. The waste is as a mountain. Okay. And in fact, they are showing it, how bad the situation is. Okay. So this is another visual way of explaining global warming due to deforestation, but with a context. Rather than saying that deforestation caused warming, you create the context and also you mention the consequence. How many species of plants are actually lost every day? Okay, so that create a context more powerful than just the visual. Visual without context also is like a dead body. Okay, it doesn't move. So you need to bring the context, and this context can also sit on top of your GIS, topography, or whatever. Okay. All right. So you need to engage your stakeholder or your client or your listener with a powerful and memorable image and stories. Ideas should be communicated visually and verbally, and connectivity can be drawn. You guide the listener so that they actually can see the view that you are looking through. Okay, so that all depends how you position your GIS map. Okay, do not expect people to understand your GIS map without context. Okay, so you need to keep minimum but yet ideas are connected. Okay, so I would like to end by highlighting this, the purpose of a GIS storytelling, GIS visual map is basically to serve as an advocacy storytelling. Okay, to create change, to improve the faculty, to make campus life exciting, to make the services improve, to make the place a pleasant environment for us. Sitting down the tree is safe, pleasant. The environment is not threatening. The river is clean. There is life in the river. There are life up in the tree. All these we want to advocate. So the GIS map could advocate and communicate this idea to the audience through your visual submissions. Okay. So we don't want to make a film that entertain but without action. Okay. So we do not want to just create a very techno-based GIS. Okay. All right. So always ask that WH question and hows. Okay. What and why. Okay. And I'll come back to this last slide of this RG's, RG story map. So you see, there are about 9 exciting stories that you can go and find out how they did it. Okay. Most of the examples chosen are very exciting and impactful. For example, the Yellowstone National Park, the giraffe in Africa. Okay. So these are the large scale story, okay? Competition, large scale competition. So go and check it out. All right. And then you will see also the storytelling, storyboarding, how they actually do storyboarding. Okay, storyboard. And then how they map the idea in a visual sequence. Go and check it out. And more importantly, there is a guide which is called the worksheet. So try to answer every question whether you are clear. What is the purpose of your story? And why are you making it? You should be able to answer it. Who's your intended audience? What are the key takeaways? Okay. Does your story have a call for action? Somebody to roll up their sleeve and act? Do you have that? If you don't have that, the story is weak. Okay. Does your content that you have, what content you already have and what you need to find? If you need to find some photos, go and shoot the photo. Okay. Don't download. And when you shoot photo, learn how to shoot the photo. There is a 1/3, format. There is some format of framing. There are some format on cropping, some format of depth, background, all this. It's time for us to learn some of this exciting skill. Okay. And if you have any data to support your story, if you don't have, can you find any data? Preliminary also okay. Okay. At least to prove the point, if you do a serious study, you can collect more data, but at least show them. We can have some data. Okay. And finally, where you want your story to go. You do not want to send this story to the competition. You want this story to stay on the Faculty of Science or Metaverse. Okay. So don't stop short. You tell yourself, I want my story to go far, to be publicized in the, our faculty's, information promo. And then what I should do, what I should have. Then use this as your worksheet. Go into the GIS story map. And that is the GIS story map. Okay, thank you. So I'm actually surprised that very few of you actually have go and click this you would have been saved many weeks of wandering in the dark. Okay. And then you could have make a jump start to go and talk to people, be like investigative journalists to find information. Okay, so I think that's about it. I hit the almost just 3 minutes past. So these are some of the references you guys can look at. I'll try to simplify some of this presentation because the size of this file is huge. Then maybe in the next few days, our makerspace will put up the this slide, and also maybe if the video is on, whichever. So we will have these on the website. Okay. Okay, guys. So I think that is basically our session. I'm also learning to tell story. I think I'm enjoying my lecture because I try to tell story, and you guys can also enjoy doing a project and also create some kind of advocating storytelling to change something in the faculty. The faculty is very excited with this project because they want to know what they can do based on your suggestions. Digitizing information in our faculty science can be an immediate requirement. So your winning entry or your entry could be part of that building block of a better digital representation of our faculty. Okay, so put that as your bigger goal. It will be a worthy effort from your team, and try your best. So maybe in a month's time, we'll be eagerly waiting for your story to hit the shelf, hit the stage, and see how it goes. Okay, so it's all an iterative learning process. Okay, 1 or 2 questions if you have any. Yes. Is there any questions? Please engage with your advisor. Maybe they have some perspective which you overlooked. Maybe they have some story to tell, then you guys can be the medium to tell that story through your project, your competition submission. Okay, so there could be something that we never thought of that hidden somewhere in the script of your lecturer or your friends. Okay, so with that I end this session. So have a good time remains of the day of your holidays, and probably I'll see some of you in the next week then. Okay, guys, thank you very much.
Thank you, Prof.
Thank you.
Prof.